Hello again, and welcome to our guide on using Ableton Live's native reverb device. This is Jeff from EDM Academy, and in this video I'll be showing you each feature in this device and what they do. Within this device are a variety of knobs, many of which control the basic fundamental qualities of the reverb sound, and a few that allow you to tweak the sound further. A reverb is characterized by two sets of decaying sound. The first is called the early reflection, which simulates the first echo heard from a sound bouncing off the walls of a room. The second is known as diffusion, and this simulates the rest of the decaying sound as it bounces around the room until it is eventually silent again. The two knobs in the top right control the volumes of these features accordingly. The rest of the fundamental controls are pre-delay, decay time, and size. Pre-delay controls the time between the original sound and the first echo produced by the reverb. A larger value will simulate a greater distance from the walls in a room. Decay time controls how long the reverb sound will take to drop in volume until the signal is silent. And, as expected, the size control simulates the size of the room that your sound is in. Apart from the fundamental controls, there are a few extra knobs that let you edit the reverb sound even further. The shape knob controls the blending time between the early reflections and the diffusion stages of the reverb. The stereo knob controls how wide your reverb sound is. A value of 0 will put your reverb sound in mono. The density setting simulates how many different objects are in a room. A high value will simulate an abnormally shaped room with many different objects in it. The scale setting controls how bright the diffusion stage of your reverb is. Remember, the diffusion stage is the second stage of the reverb, which comes after the early reflections. And lastly, as with most Ableton effects, there is a dry-wet knob in the bottom right. In the top half of the device are 4 boxes that control the frequencies and movement of your reverb sound. The input processing section lets you cut high or low frequencies from entering the device with high and low pass filters. These can be turned on and off by using the respective switches. Beneath the box are 2 sliders. The left slider controls the center frequency point of the cutoff filters. The right slider controls how far apart the 2 cutoff points are. Next is a box that allows you to add spin to your early reflections. This is a means of adding some movement to your first echo sounds so that they sound a little more interesting. The left slider controls the speed of the movement, and the right slider controls how much movement is applied. This section can be turned off by using the spin switch. To the right is the diffusion network, which allows you to control the frequency decay settings of your reverb's diffusion. This section is split into high and low frequency shelves that add faster decay settings to all frequencies below or above each shelf. For example, by setting a steep drop-off to the high frequency shelf, the sound of the reverb will lose its higher frequencies faster than its lower frequencies. The left sliders control the cutoff point for each shelf, and the right sliders control how quickly the affected frequencies decay. The high and low frequency shells can be turned on or off independently of each other by using their respective on and off switches. Lastly, on the right is a section allowing you to add a chorus effect to the diffusion stages of your reverb sound. This results in a somewhat unnatural sound, but it can add a healthy amount of spice to your reverb to help it from sounding boring. As with the sliders in the spin section, the left slider controls the speed of the movement, while the right slider controls the amount. Apart from the boxes and knobs, there are a couple of other features left. Activating the freeze button will stop your reverb in its current state and prevent it from decaying further, producing an infinite length of sound until it's turned off. The flat switch will bypass the diffusion network while it's in freeze mode. The cut switch will prevent your original dry sound from adding to the reverb after activating freeze mode. When turned off, any sound produced while freeze mode is on will add to the frozen signal, allowing an infinite amount of built-up reverb to occur. Lastly, in the top middle of the device is a drop-down menu which lets you select the quality setting of your reverb device. Higher settings will produce better sounding reverbs, but will cost more CPU. And that's all the features available in Ableton's native reverb device. To learn more about Ableton's devices, and for more video tutorials, check out edmacademy.net.